Guru Sahib gave a boon to everybody there and said, whoever can dig out one pot of dirt from the Sarovar, their whole family will be liberated. And then Maharaj says, whoever can remove one bullock cart of dirt from the Sarovar, not just their whole family, but their whole lineage will be liberated. So this is something that the sangat until today still have the Shraddha Bhavna. There's so many sangat. Everyone who came took a bag full of that dirt, that gada, whatever it is that is left on the ground. They took it back home. Because they have this Shraddha ki Mara de Bachana, Guru Arjan Dev Ji's Bachan is whoever can remove a bag of dirt, their family will be liberated, their whole lineage will be liberated. And Mara says, whoever takes a bath, does ishnaan in the Sarovar, all their past sins, whatever they have done in their past life, will be forgiven. You know, basically it's a fresh start for them. WhyGuru Ji Ka Khalsa, WhyGuru Ji Ki Fateh Sangat Ji. Welcome to another episode of Sikhan di Bhagat Mala, where we tell the stories of the Gursikhs from the time of Guru Sahib, as mentioned by Bhai Gurdas Ji and retold by Shaheed Bhai Mani Singh Ji in their book called Sikhan di Bhagat Mala. So we are now more than half already. There's about 9 more pauriyan left. So we are now at Var 11, pauri number 22. So this pauri is very interesting because it speaks about the Sikh of Guru Arjan Dev Ji, and mainly in Amritsar during the construction of Amrit Sarovar and Harmandir Sahib. So we are going to learn a lot about the significance of Amritsar Sarovar and that place in this pauri. So in this pauri, Bhai Gurdas Ji mentions about a Sikh called Pipa Kasra. So Pipa Kasra stayed with Guru Arjan Dev Ji and did seva of Guru Sahib and the sangat wholeheartedly. You know, malishi seva, serve them langar, give them garam pani for shower and wash their feet. And Guru Arjan Dev Ji, because of his name was Deepa, Deep means a candle or a diva, a light. Guru Sahib says just like a lighted candle that removes darkness, and it has the ability to light another candle, and its own light will not diminish or become less. Bhai Deepa Ji is such a candle that he himself is enlightened, and he goes around giving the same light of wisdom to the people around him. And because of that, Bhai Deepa Ji has the gyan of Paramatma within themselves, and whoever does darshan or sangat of Bhai Deepa Ji will also attain the same enlightenment as they have gotten. In the second pankti, Bhai Gurdas Ji speaks about 2 Sikh called Bhai Lal Ji and Bhai Langaha Ji, and they were from the town of Patti. So they came to meet Guru Arjan Dev Ji when Amritsar was being constructed. So both of them, they collected money and the svanda and other things from all the villages, and they came and gave it to Guru Arjan Dev Ji, and they start doing the construction seva. So at that point, the Sangha was digging the ground. Jithe sarovar ni, utthe pehla khudai karte si. So they were digging the ground, taking all the dirt out, and cleaning that place so they can put the pani in and make it in the Sarovar. So Guru Sahib then, looking at the Shraddha of Bhai Lal Ji, Bhai Langaha Ji, Guru Sahib gave a boon to everybody there and said, whoever can dig out one pot of dirt from the Sarovar, their whole family will be liberated. So one pot of dirt, so they dig out and they can take it away, their family will be liberated. And then Maharaj says, whoever can remove one bullock cart of dirt from the Sarovar, not just their whole family, but their whole lineage will be liberated. So this is something that the sangat until today still have the Shraddha Bhavna. And we were speaking to some Gursikhs, they were telling us about the Sarovar seva, when they remove the pani and they clean the Sarovar. There's so many sangat, and there was once a worry ki, where would all the dirt go? There's no space to dispose and everything, right? And it just so happened ki sangat, everyone who came took a bag full of that dirt, that gada, whatever it is that is left on the ground. They took it back home because they have this Shraddha ki Mara de Bachana, Guru Arjan Dev Ji's Bachan is whoever can remove a bag of dirt, their family will be liberated, their whole lineage will be liberated. So until today, whoever does this seva, they still have the Shraddha Bhavana. So Guru Arjan Dev Ji then speaks about the greatness of the Sarovar. That Sarovar or Amritsar is like Man Sarovar. Man Sarovar is basically a lake where you have Paramhans, the greatest of the swans. They live there and they eat motiyan, suche moti. And Harmandir Sahib, which is right in the middle of Amritsar Sarovar, Guru Arjan Dev Ji says Harmandir Sahib is that boat that takes the Sikha across the ocean. So Sarovar is at Man Sarovar and Harmandir Sahib is basically signifying that boat. And Mara says whoever takes a bath, does ishnaan in the Sarovar, all their past sins, whatever they have done in their past life, will be forgiven. Basically it's a fresh start for them. And then whoever goes into Harmandir Sahib and listens to Gur Shabad, Kirtan, Katha, and they listen, they accept, and then they put it into practice, they will never have the desire to commit any future sins as well. So all those who come and do ishnaan at Amritsar Sarovar and they listen to Kirtan and Katha there, they will attain spiritual wisdom. In the third Sakhi, Pai Gurdasi speaks about 3 Sikh who were Masanda of Guru Arjan Dev Ji. So Masanda basically we can say like those who would go to village, they will do Parchar of Sikhi and then they will collect the Svanda from the sangat and then they will then pass on all that money to Guru Sahib for whatever reasons they need. So in this situation, because they needed a lot of the Svanda for the construction of Amritsar, Pai Ajab Ji, Pai Ajab Ji and Pai Umar Sangha, they were 3 Masanda, they collected all the money and then they came to Amritsar when the construction was going on. So these 3 Masanda, Pai Mani Singh Ji tells, कि they have never taken a single money that the Sangat have given them for Guru Sahib. In fact, they will only sustain themselves with what the Sangat give. Onane dal, prashada deta, if they have given them ration, groceries, whatever the Sangat has given to them, personally, they just survive with that. So they never took the money of the Guru. So now when they reach Amritsar, one day Guru Arjan Dev Ji asked them, what do you think of the money that the Sangat has given you for Guru Kar? What do you call that money? Or what do you feel towards that money that was given to you for Guru Kar? And the 3 of them says, Ki Maharaj, the money given to us by Sangat for you, for Guru Kar, for us, we take it as poison. Sade vaste zair, and we always keep it away. We never use a single cent for ourselves, or we never consume it. So then Guru Sahib was very happy and said, this is the very reason why you'll be liberated, because you never had any ill intention towards Guru Kar. So now one day as they were doing seva, they were reading Sukhmani Sahib, which is the Bani by Guru Arjan Dev Ji. And in Sukhmani Sahib, there's this pankti that says, Prabh pave bin saas te rakhe, Prabh pave ta har gun pak hai. So Prabh pave bin saas te rakhe, which means if Paramatma wants, Paramatma can keep that person alive without any breath. So they were wondering, they said, Maharaj, no one can live without air, without oxygen in this world. So everything needs air to survive. But we have heard about one being called Bhishma Pitama. So Bhishma Pitama was basically, this was during the time of Treta Yug, when Mahabharata war took place. Bhishma Pitama basically, in a nutshell, you can go online and search about him. He was given a boon by his father Shantanu, that he can die whenever he wants. He has the power to choose the time of his death, even when his swasanji punji, which means his breath that he came with, is finished. So Sangaji, this is something that we need to understand, that when we come into this world, we have a limited amount of breath that we come with. It's not how long we live, but how much breath that we have come with. So Shantanu gave this boon to his son and said that you can choose the time of your death. So Bhishma Pitama was the grand uncle of the Kaurav and the Pandav. So there's a long story of how it happens and so on. And he never got married. So when his end moment came, which was at the Mahabharata war, where he fought with Arjun and he was shot many arrows at his back, that when he fell on all the arrows and it looked like he was lying down on a bed of arrows. So when his last moment came, he controlled his time of death and he stayed alive for 58 days. And in those 58 days, he gave a lot of gyan, spiritual wisdom to everyone around them, the Kauravas, the Pandavas, and so on. So he post his death and he gave spiritual wisdom to the Pandavas. So he was still breathing for 58 days. So this Sikha, the Masanda, asked Guru Sahib, how is this possible? Then Guru Sahib says, the power that Bhisham Pitama had, the power can only be blessed by Ishwar. So just like trees on the mountain. So many of you would have traveled to Hemkund Sahib, and you will realize that the oxygen level, as you go on a higher altitude, the air becomes thinner, the oxygen level becomes less. You might feel like, nausea, headache, lightheaded, and so on. Guru Sahib says, the trees right at the top of the mountain, the animals who live on the mountain, they can survive with very little air. And on top of that, if we look at a fetus, if we look at a child in the mother's womb, for the first 6 months, so for 2 trimesters, the fetus does not breathe until the body is fully formed, but the heart is still beating. It is because of the heart beating that they can do an ultrasound and they can see the child, the fetus is growing and it's healthy, but it's not breathing. Only after the 6th month, then the child starts to breathe and take in air, but the heart is still beating. So this power is only blessed by Paramatma, by Ishwar. Another meaning Guru Arjan Dev Ji is telling ki every breath given to us is fruitful if we spend it in the remembrance of WhyGuru. And if you breathe, you waste one breath not remembering Paramatma, then you have lost an opportunity. So Mara says that breath that is not used in the remembrance of WhyGuru is like an airbag that belongs to an ironsmith, and it's just an empty bag, but all that airbag is used is to just push out air to make the fire stronger, so he can burn and melt the iron and form the metals that he wants to. So Guru Arjan Dev Ji says, do not waste a single breath that has been blessed to you. Now in the next Sakhi 4, Guru Arjan Dev Ji tells the Sangat about the past and the future of Amritsar Sahib, which is very interesting, I find it. So Pai Gurdas Ji speaks about 2 Gursikhs here who come to meet Guru Arjan Dev Ji, Pai Peda Chajjal and Pai Kandu Sangar. So Peda Chajjal janiye, Kandu Sangar mile hasanda. So they used to meet everybody with a smile. So one day they came to Guru Arjan Dev Ji and they asked him, Maharaj, how can we attain liberation? How can we become mukta? Maharaj says, take an ishnaan, do ishnaan in Amrit Sarovar and listen and accept and contemplate on the Gur Shabad Kirtan and do seva of all the Sikhs when you're in Amritsar. So Maharaj says Amritsar is a really big asthan, it's a great pilgrimage, a great place of worship, but this place has remained hidden for a very long time. So this is very interesting because Guru Nanak Ji came to this land and they did Kirtan here with Pai Mardana Ji. And then Guru Amar Das' time, Guru Amar Das Ji was very pleased with Guru Ram Das Ji with their seva. Guru Amar Das Ji said, Ki, O blessed one, Hey Mahapurkh, the lifespan of creatures, of humans and generally every being in Kaljug is very less, very short. So if we look at the age of Satyug, people used to live for until 100,000 years. Then Treta, it became 10,000, Dwapar became 1,000, and in Kaljug is 100. But now we see how it's working. People are dying at a very early age, and very few people can survive even until 100. So Guru Amar Das Ji, thinking about this, they say people do not have enough time to go to all the places of worship around the world. So the Hindu Dharam, they have 68 Tirath, 68 different forms of pilgrimage, and it takes a long time. There's different things you need to do at a different place of worship, different maryada, different bani, and so on. So there's not enough time, and people do not have enough money to go and give dasvanda or charity to every place of worship. So what can we do? So Guru Amar Das Ji was thinking about pala, ki sare da pala kive hoye. So Guru Amar Das Ji said we should construct such a place where it has the blessings, the power of all the places of worship, all the Tirth Yatra combined. And this place should be constructed in Madhya Pradesh, so in Hindustan, in India right now. So Guru Ram Das Ji ne said ki Maharaj, please tusi ek iddan di jagah banao. So please construct such a place where people can come and do the yatra, not only get the blessing of doing pilgrimages, but they can attain liberation, they can become mukta here as well. So Guru Amar Das Ji says, then let's build it here. And this place was Amritsar. Before it was called Amritsar, it was called Ramdaspur. So Guru Ram Das Ji then started a digging and construction, and then Guru Ram Das Ji then told Guru Arjan Dev Ji that you have to continue completion of Amritsar and Harmandir Sahib and call this place Amritsar. So what is the blessing of coming to Amritsar Sahib is that every other Tirth Asthan, they obtain their blessing from Amritsar, and Kaljug will not, so in this age of Kaljug will not allow any power, any miracle, any strength left in any place of worship. It's just going to penetrate and destroy everything. But Amritsar Shahar, Harmandir Sahib is a place where the moment you go in and the ardas that you do, a single ardas you do, and it will be fulfilled right away. The amount of blessings and power in Amritsar Shahar, in Darbar Sahib, in Harmandir Sahib is immense. Then Guru Arjan Dev Ji then tells the future of Amritsar. A time will come where Ganga river will start to dry up. And then I realized, wow, we just came back from our Panch Takhat Yatra, and we saw Ganga in Patna Shahar, in Delhi, and it was not looking good. Even the local people were saying people have disrespected Ganga. There's so much of ganda and dirt being thrown away. One of them even said that they actually put in powder to make Ganga look cleaner. And then we have our sangat who went to Hemkund Sahib, and they saw Ganga flowing in such a high speed, clear pani, beautiful, flowing from the mountains all the way down. So Guru Sahib says a time will come where Ganga will start to dry up. And in 12 koh means 1 koh is about 1.8 kilometers. In about 21 kilometers radius around Harmandir Sahib, if Harmandir Sahib Amritsar is a center point, 21.6 kilometer radius around Amritsar, it will become a hub for all the sadhus, all the yogis, the rishi munis, everybody, Guru Sikhs, to come and reside here, and they'll do the Tirth Yatra in Amritsar. Then at that point, Guru Arjan Dev Ji also revealed another sthan called Santokhsar. And Guru Arjan Dev Ji, so the history of Santokhsar is also very interesting. You should read that they found a yogi, when they were digging the ground, they found a sadhu doing tapasya in Satjug. So Guru Arjan Dev Ji then says that whoever takes a ishnaan in Santokhsar, their sins will be washed away and they will become Santokh. They will attain the nature of contentment. So the fifth Sakhi here is one that I think that we have all heard. Bhai Gurdas speaks about a Sikha called Kapoor Dev, and he is going to go meet another Sikha called Pipa Saman. So Putt Saput Kapoor Dev Sikhe Milya Man Vigsanda Samman hai Sahbajpur Gur Sikhan di Sar Lahanda. So what's the story of these two Gur Sikhs? Now, Bhai Kapoor Dev was a really great Sikh. Him and his whole family, his wife, his sons, his daughter-in-laws, they would do seva of Guru Sahib, and also anyone who comes to their house, they will serve them with so much of prem, so much of joy. One day, he came and asked Guru Arjan Dev Ji, Maharaj, I have this icha, this cha in me that I want to do darshan of the Sikh that you're really happy with, that you're so pleased with. And Guru Arjan Dev Ji says, okay, then you should go and meet Pipa Saman Ji. So Bhai Kapoor Dev Ji went to meet Pipa Saman Ji in Shahbazpur, and Pipa Saman Ji invited them, welcomed them, and Bhai Kapoor Dev sat in his home, and Pipa Saman Ji went out and brought back floor mats, bashaiya, dariya, carpets, and firewood. And he started mending these carpets, the floor mats, the dariya. And Pai Kapoor Dev Ji was just looking at him and says, Pai Saman Ji, I've come from a long way to come and meet you because Guru Arjan Dev Ji said, he's very happy with you and I should learn from you. But you're doing all this useless work. You are collecting firewood and you're mending carpets and floor mats. What are you doing? Then Pai Saman Ji says, Pai Kapoor Ji, this work is very necessary. You won't understand now. But by nightfall, ek kaam samapta ho chuka, my work will finish and I'll sit down and I will have a conversation with you. So at night, they sat down, they had a conversation, and Pai Saman Ji has a son. So Pai Saman Ji and his son, they spent the whole night doing Kirtan. And then the next morning, suddenly there was a huge commotion in the village. So people were like chaos and everybody was like screaming and shouting. And apparently thieves came in the middle of the night and they took away the livestock of the village. So they stole like cows, buffaloes, goats and so on. So the villagers were making a lot of noise and commotion, and they said, let's all gather together and let's go hunt for these thieves and these robbers, because livestock, it takes time for them to transport. You have to like push them and guide them. So Pai Samanji's son also offered to go along with the villagers. As they were finding the robbers, the thieves and all, Pai Saman's son got shot and he died on the spot. And what happened is that Pai Samanji then found out when he got the news. He then immediately, so imagine Sangaji, Pai Kapoor Dev is watching Pai Samanji as he's doing all this. He got the news that your son has died. Pai Samanji then collects the firewood, goes to the cremation ground, takes the carpet, takes the bashaya, the dariya, and lays it on the floor. And now Pai Samanji starts doing Kirtan, and his son is, prepared the body, put it on the fire, covered it with the kappada, and Pai Samanji then now starts to do Kirtan. Then Kirtan was done, sangat started coming in, they sat down on the carpets and the floor mats, they listened to Kirtan, and then the cremation was done, everything was done, and then Pai Samanji that tells to Pai Kapoor Dev, Ki Pai Sabji, this was the very reason that I was mending the floor mats, the carpets last night and collecting firewood. So in this point, Pai Kapoor Dev Ji is shocked. And he said, Ki Pai Samanji, if you knew that your son was going to die, why didn't you tell Guru Arjan Dev Ji and maybe do Benti Ki Maharaj, please save my son, give him a long life? And then Pai Samanji says, why should I do that? Why should I go against Hukam, the will of Paramatma, and do something that I want? Pai Samanji then says to Pai Kapoor Dev that this body is temporary. And we make a big mistake when we attach ourselves to this body. So there's no mystery that this body will perish. It's only the question when the moment of death will come. We should not become sad when someone passes away, because it's not the body who dies. Body just goes back to the elements that it came from. So Pai Samanji says nothing remains forever with us. It's only Naam that stays with us in this world and in the next world. In the last Sakhi, Pai Gurudadi speaks about 4 Guru Sikhs here, and they're also masand of Guru Arjan Dev Ji. Joda Jalo Tulasapur Mohana Alam Ganjarahanda Gurmukh Vadya Vade Masanda. So they were great masanda. Their name was Pai Joda Ji, Pai Jallo Ji, and they were masanda from Tulaspur. And then we have another 2 Sikh, Pai Mohan Ji and Pai Alam Ji. They lived in Lahore Ganj. So again, because of the construction of Amritsar, so many sangat came to Amritsar Shahar and became a part of the seva for constructing the Sarovar. So they also came, they collected the money that the sangat gave them, and they came to Amritsar Shahar and they gave the peta, the dasvanda, to Guru Sahib. They never took a single money from Guru's Golak. Why? They say, Ki when a fly, they give an example, if there's a plate of food, and when a fly comes and lands on that food, what would you do? You won't eat it because, ganda ho gaya, it's not sucha anymore. You throw the food away. And they say ki taking a single money from Guru's Golak, from the money given by Sangat for Gurukar, for the purpose of the task for the Guru, it's like that food that goes wasted. This is all our possession, our wealth, our whatever tanadollar that we have is all going to go away. It will be wasted, it will be thrown away. We will lose everything. So one day they were ready to go and meet Guru Arjan Dev Ji, and they all sat on a bullock cart and they were going towards Amritsar. And a black cobra came in front of the bullock cart. So they wanted to avoid it. So they went on this side, the cobra came this side. They went on the left side, the cobra came and stood, blocked the way on the left side. They realized, why is this cobra not moving? So what happened was, Bhai Mohanji got down and he had a pot with him, like a basket, yeah. And he went in front of the cobra and said, if you want to have darshan of Guru Arjan Dev Ji, then go inside this basket, this container, and we will take you there. So the cobra went in and they took the cobra together to meet Guru Arjan Dev Ji. When they came to meet Guru Arjan Dev Ji, Guru Sahib asked, Kinne jane aaye ho? How many of you are there? And they said, Maharaj, there are 4 of us. Bhai Jal Ji, Bhai Jodha Ji, and then Bhai Mohan Ji and Bhai Alam Ji. So then Guru Arjan Dev Ji looks at the Sevadar and says, give them Parchar for 5 people. Panjajani? Like only 4 of them are here. And Guru Sahib said, well, the snake that you brought with you. So at this point they didn't show, ki the snake, there's a snake there. But Guru Sahib knew. Guru Sahib says, the snake that you brought with you used to be a masand. And then the Sikh asked, how did he become a snake? Then Guru Sahib says, he never used to respect the Sikh. He never used to bow to the Sikh. He never respected any Sikh. In fact, he took money from the sangat. So because he never had any respect for the Sikh, that's why the hood of the snake is always up, never goes down. And he took sangat's money and he hid it, and that's why he has become a snake. So even in Gurbani, Bhagat says, Antika jo Lakshmi simre, aisi chinta mein jimre, sarp jon val val avtare. That if you keep thinking about wealth and money, you come into the June of sarp, of snake. So Bhai Mohanji lifted the cover and the cobra came out and bowed his hood and matha take to Guru Sahib. Guru Sahib then said, Amrit da jal leke aao. So from Amrit Sarovar, jal, take pani from Amrit Sarovar and sprinkle it on the snake. So when they sprinkled the Sarovar jal on the snake, the soul exited the body and rose up, and basically that soul was then liberated from that June of being a snake. So Guru Sahib then tells to all the masanda ki by doing ishnaan in Amritsar Sarovar, sare paap tote jante ne. So all our sins get washed away when we do ishnaan in Amritsar Sarovar. So Sangatji, in this body, Guru Sahib tells us about the vadiyai of Amritsar Sarovar. Whenever, and it's a maryada as well, Brahatnam mein chavi likhya ki whenever you go to a takhat. So Akal Takhat is in Amritsar Sahib as well, right in front of Harmandir Sahib. You must do Deg di Ardas, you must matha take paise. And in Amritsar there's a maryada as well ki when you come to Amritsar you should do Panch Sarovar Ishnaan. So the Panch Sarovar Ishnaan is Amritsar, Santokh Sar, Bibek Sar, Ram Sar and Kaur Sar. And Khalsa is really important because the Sarovar Ishnaan is not complete until you have Ishnaan in Khalsa, just like your darshan at Harmandir Sahib is not complete until you matha take at Baba Atal Rai Gurdwara. So these are the things that are very, very important for us to know when you go to Takhat Yatra or Gurdwara, Itihasak Gurdwara darshan karne apanu. We have to know what's the vidhi of going there, what do we do when we come to a Itihasak Gurdwara or Sthan. So hopefully we learnt a lot from this body, mainly about Amritsar, about the Sarovar and the construction of the Sarovar, the past and future of Amritsar Shahar. So WhyGuru Ji Ka Khalsa, WhyGuru Ji Ki Fateh.